Hey Cappy, it's Ryan with Arrows of Love. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do your 2022 Love Tarot reading. So I'm going to do a 12 card spread for you, and I'm going to pull some cards from my new astrology deck, which I'm very excited about. Just got this over the holiday season. So we're going to do an in-depth read for you, Capricorn, starting off with you because it is your birthday, and I'm a Capricorn sun, so happy birthday, Cappies. We're nearing the end of Capricorn season, but I'm still going to do the 2022 predictions during January. So you're going to get a bonus because I'm going to do two for you because you're also going to get a January prediction. So Cappies, we're going through Venus retrograde in your first house right now. Venus retrograde in the first house, you could be considering body maintenance. The first house has to do with the body, your presentation out into the world, your identity, and your purpose. So things are changing here overall. And Venus rules love and relationships. So this is a review of relationships. If things are tense right now, it's Venus retrograde. And we're in the middle of it right now. She's going to be retrograding through the end of January and then moving forward again. And she's going to be coming up to a conjunction with Pluto and Mars toward the end, beginning of March. So this is big stuff. This is big things for you personally, Capricorn, and always the opposite sign, Cancer. So it's about your relationships. So a Cancer could be involved in here, but overall it's your one-on-one relationships up for review right now. Later on in late April, the planet of expansion, good luck, order, the law, it's Jupiter, it's the great benefic of our solar system, has moved into Pisces, and it's going to be there for the majority of 2022, but it is going to reach Aries as well. But Jupiter rules Pisces, and for you, Capricorn, Pisces is your third house of communication, promoting, marketing, and selling. It's channels of all type. It's ruled by Mercury. It's a mercurial type house, so it's movement of all types everywhere. It's chatting, it's talking, it's texting, it's emails, it's channels, it's communication. So the planet of expansion and good luck is moving into its home sign of Pisces in your third house, and it's going to be meeting up with Venus and Neptune at the exalted degree of Pisces. Sorry, the exalted degree of Venus, which is in Pisces. It's 27 degrees. So it's the ancient ruling planet of Pisces, Jupiter in Pisces. So this is going to bring hope, inspiration back into the world. We've been in Saturn-ruled signs. Saturn's in its home sign for the last couple of years. Pandemic, it's being at home, it's being restricted, it's just society going through some weird-ass shit. That's Saturn, and then Jupiter has been in these Saturn-ruled signs for the last couple of years, but it's finally out. Thank God. Jupiter is out. Jupiter is in its home sign of Pisces, and it's meeting up with Neptune, which has been there for a few years, and then Venus, when she's done retrograding through Capricorn, is going to meet up in her exalted sign of Pisces as well, and they're all going to conjoin at the exalted degree of Pisces at 27 degrees. This is cosmic ecstasy on a different level. This is joy, hope, good luck, inspiration. We're going to see massive things in music. We're going to see new forms of art come out. We have to be really careful of escapism. So drugs, sex, and alcohol are going to be major themes for people next year, going overboard with all of this, especially with drugs and escaping and cults. Yeah. So we need to be really careful of some of these shadow qualities of Pisces, religious cults, using drugs, sex, and alcohol for religious or spiritual purposes, taking it overboard. But it's also cosmic ecstasy at the same time. So it's got to find this balance between the two, right? That's Pisces. It's the double-bodied fish. It's ethereal in nature. So that is toward the end of April. I think it's April 30th, and I think there's a solar eclipse in Taurus that day as well. And we're at the exalted degree of Venus, so all things Venus, relationships, love, harmony, sexuality, coming together, and then the solar eclipse in her home sign of Taurus as well, and I think it's toward her dignified degrees. It's in those first degrees. So wow, whatever that is, it is massive. So we're going to lay cards for first quarter, second quarter, third, and fourth. So January through March, April through June, July, August, September, and then October through December. So we'll lay cards for each of these, and I'm going to talk about them. But yeah, I want you to really pay attention to what's going on. For you, Capricorn, toward the end of April, because that solar eclipse in that 5th house of Taurus, that's the house of joy for you. That is entertainment, that is romance, that's passion, it's also children. Some of you are going to get pregnant on the date. A lot of people, a lot of pregnancies that day. And it's in your 5th house of children. So lots of Capricorns having kids. Okay. And then we're gonna have Mars retrograde toward the end of the year. Ooh. And it's gonna be in flighty old Gemini. So I'm not worried about it, but Mars retrogrades are not pleasant. Mars is the god of war, action, vitality, virility. It's conflict, cutting and severing. And in Gemini, in the double-bodied twin air sign, it's flighty. So, this is toward the end of the year. This is November. For you, Capricorn, this is your 6th house of work. So you need to be really careful of people at work. Odd things coming out of nowhere, especially men. Mars rules men. So if there's a particular male at work that is being real weird or acting strange, stay away from them. Don't engage. Gemini rules the mind. So Mars going retrograde in Gemini, it's someone having some mental instability, okay? Losing their shit. Just be aware, okay? Especially in the office or like at a health club, or your regular routine. I know it's scaring people, but I'm just saying like Mars retrograde is Mars retrograde. Mars was coming out of shadow when January 6th happened, okay? That was the last time Mars retrograded. The last time Mars retrograded, and granted this was hitting my ascendant, it was making a square to my ascendant. My dad fell from a ladder, did not die, came close though, shattered his hip and his shoulder, and I ended up taking care of him for 4 months. And Mars was retrograding, making a square over to my ascendant, and then when it was moving into shadow, when it started its retrograde phase, basically, it was hitting my sun and my Venus in my 7th house. So Mars retrograde, not pleasant, okay? You go through some real tough crap. And I was going through a big 6th house transit, work, service, health, taking care of my dad for 4 months. You can see how this one worked out for me. So Capricorn, it's somewhere in the workplace. Could be health matters too. You really have to take care of your mental health, okay? That's for some of you. Those are the big transits. We have eclipses, we have retrogrades, we have amazing trines. The big one is that one in Pisces. Wow, cosmic ecstasy. Mars retrograde is going to be kind of weird. That's toward the end of the year. We'll talk about that. And then Venus retrograde happening now. Venus is going to move forward. She's going to be reborn. Relationships are going to look very different in 2022. Overall, especially for you, you're going to look different in 2022 too, Capricorn. Some of you are going through or considering major makeovers. So be prepared. Capricorn, the other thing about Venus and Capricorn, by the way, these are where supermodels come from. I'm going to give you a little tidbit, Capricorn. Venus and Capricorn reverses ages people. So if you have this placement in your chart, if you have Venus and Capricorn, you actually look better as you get older. Why is that? Venus is beauty and aesthetics. Capricorn is old age, decay, death. So Venus actually does very well in Capricorn. There's triplicity in Capricorn because she also rules an earth sign Taurus. She does well here. There's some weird mythology between Venus and Saturn as well, but people with Venus and Saturn actually reverse age. They look better as they get older. People with Venus and Capricorn, Tyra Banks, Cindy Crawford, 2 of the biggest supermodels in the entire world, and they still look amazing, by the way, too. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I have Venus and Capricorn, too. I'm 35. and I don't do anything to my face. So no soap. I'm telling all my Capricorns that you look better as you age. And the secret, Capricorn, is you have to get in touch with that inner child, okay? You need to let go of control, and get in touch with your Cancer side. Get in touch with your emotions. Get in touch with your spirituality. Work will always be there. The less you work, the better you look. The more you give up control, the better your life goes. It's the exact opposite of what Capricorn craves. So once you give that all up, Capricorn, things go really well, really well. So all you Capricorns that are in your 30s, your hardship is coming to an end, okay? That's when Capricorns, ascendants and suns come into their own. You're late bloomers. You do very well after 30s. So those of you coming up to your Saturn return, you're very close. You're very close. Those of you that are 35, 34, 33, coming into your own. Coming into your own. This is when Capricorns soar. Same thing with their 60s and their 90s. So every 30 years, Capricorns level up, okay? If you're in the middle of it and you're 45, 15, in between 60 and 85, so, 70s, same thing. Your level, those can be difficult points, actually, when Saturn's opposing your ascendant or your sun. Ooh, those are difficult times. But when it's coming around, or when Saturn's opposing Saturn in your natal chart again, those can be very difficult. But when you're going through your Saturn return, it's a leveling up for Capricorn. So, again, 30, 60, 90. Always remember that. It's every 30 years. So, and it's the years leading up to that, too. So if you're coming up to 30 years old, if you're coming up to 60 years old, if you're coming up to 90 years old, it's the years leading up to the 2. 3 years before, 3 years after. So I'd say 27 to 33 for Capricorns. Those are leveling up periods. And then it happens again at 57 all the way through 63. Those are leveling up periods. And then if you're lucky enough to hit your 90s, 87 to 93 is another, you get to that third level, you're a god at that point. So, congratulations. Okay, I'll stop talking. Those are the major astrological transits. I'm going to obviously talk about them more in 2022. I want to get them on your radar now. But starts off with a bang with Venus retrograde in your first house. Then we have Venus joined at her exalted degree in Pisces with expansion planet Jupiter and Neptune, which brings compassion, healing. You could meet someone on a cruise near the water. I mean, there's huge implications with water here and love and regenerating forces around April 30th, and then Mars retrograde at the end of the year. There's eclipses and other things happening too. But those are the main astrological markers. So let's see what's happening. Cappies climbing that mountain of success as always. So this one's going to be a little bit different. We're going to pull one card from the Angels Oracle. I have my astrology deck. We're going to pull one card for a planet that I want you to watch throughout the year. So that will be an indication maybe, and we'll look at the house it rules. I'm also going to pull a transit card. So maybe there's a certain transit that's going to be very important for you, Capricorn. We'll get more to the root of that as well. And then I'm going to pull a sign. So one of the 12 signs you're going to want to watch too. It could be a house. It could be a person. It could be an event, an idea, whatever, a thought. This particular sign will represent something different to each of you. So that will give you more of a clue, right, as to where 2022 is going on. And then, of course, I'm going to lay out 12 cards from the Oracle, the Tarot as well. So let's get started. First up, out of love from the angels. New love, a new person has stirred your romantic feelings. Ooh, spicy Capricorn. Got someone new. If you're partnered up, it's the renewal, right? Venus retrograde in your first house is going to change you. It is going to change your body. It's going to change your thoughts. It's going to change your purpose, your identity. You're going to look completely different after this in a very Venusian way, which rules, by the way, your fifth house of romance. That's Taurus and Libra. and that's your 10th house of careers. So something, you're leveling up here. It could be new love within the career, maybe. But if you're single, new love is on the way. If you're coupled up, perhaps you rekindle that flame, or perhaps things don't go so great during Venus retrograde and you find new love sometime in 2022. Let's dive deeper. New love, here it is from the angels. This is from the planets. Which planet, Spirit, should Capricorns be keeping an eye on in 2022? Let's take a look. Which planet do we need to be keeping an eye on? Saturn. Here it is. Your ruling planet, Capricorn. You got to keep an eye on your ruling planet. So it talks about, this card talks about what Saturn is. So it's often considered the father of the cosmos. It was Kronos, that was a Titan before Jupiter and the Olympians showed up. The Titans ruled the universe. So Saturn is known as the father of the cosmos. It's an austere paternal figure. So these could be fathers, it could be a boss, it could be someone who holds rank in society, in a family, in a group, right? It's the paternal figure. It's associated with discipline and responsibility as it teaches us hard lessons and pushes us toward the right path, whether we like it or not. Saturn helps us learn from previous mistakes we have embarked on our future projects as we embark on our future projects, encouraging us toward our destiny. Saturn is also associated with our personal karma, holding us accountable for our past decisions and helping us learn from them. Saturn changes signs every 28 to 30 years. So that's actually not right. It takes 28 to 30 years to travel around the sun. It takes about 2.5 to 3 years for Saturn to change signs. Saturn right now, Capricorn, is sitting in your second house of Aquarius. Saturn also rules Aquarius. It rules Aquarius and it rules Capricorn. Saturn in your second house. Now, it's almost halfway through your second house. It's going to change signs into Pisces in March of 2023. So we have about a year to go. I believe that's going to be around the time that the pandemic ends. We went into lockdown in March of 2020. That was right around the time that Saturn ingressed into Aquarius, March 2020. Saturn then stopped retrograde and went back into Capricorn the rest of 2020. It was only there for a few months. Things started to open. You see a lot of politics, a lot of things happening with coronavirus. When Saturn finally went back into Aquarius, that's when COVID was full-fledged. You saw death spike, we saw variants. It wasn't good, right? That was all of the rest of 2020, all of 2021. Now Saturn is halfway through Aquarius, but it's in your second house. So the second house has to do with your self-worth. It has to do with what things you value, your possessions, your money in your bank account, the money that you make from the business you own, the money you make from the company you work for. You're getting lessons in money. It's checking up on your bank account, what it is you value. There could be restrictions with money. There could be restrictions with the job. You could have had problems with possessions, material goods. I'm Cancer ascendant, but I'm also Capricorn sun. Last year, I got into a fender bender. That was a significant transit. I think my 12th house was being activated. Things I didn't see. I was looking down, wasn't paying attention. It's my own fault. So I had something very similar. I also had my fridge. My fridge died. I had to go buy a new fridge. So second house matters. And this is the lesson in Saturn in the second house. You need to have a reserve because life happens and you need to have a big enough bank account to support unexpected events. So because I had a reserve, I've already learned this lesson with Saturn at a different time. And I had an inkling that my second house was going to be hit because Saturn was moving into it. It's also my 8th house of other people's money from my ascendant. I put extra money away in 2020, fully knowing that Saturn was going to hit. It's my 8th house, second house, depending on how you want to read your chart. Just to be prepared. Well, of course, my fridge and I had that car accident, so I had to have money on reserve. I had the money on reserve, so I was lucky enough, right, to do that. But that was the lesson. So it's like I passed the lesson. I haven't had any other, knock on marble, I haven't had any other incidents just quite yet, but Saturn never stops. It's getting through that second decan. So that's 10 degrees all the way up to 20 degrees. It's at about 13 right now. So we're getting through the lessons, but the thing is, Saturn also brings the greatest reward. So if you've learned the lessons with money and we've cut out excesses, we've learned our limits and our boundaries with money, because that's always Saturn. It's the great taskmaster, limits and boundaries. Always think about that with Saturn. Then you're learning your lesson, and then Saturn makes it rain. Whatever house it's in, it's going to bless it if you've been doing the work, especially toward the latter half or the latter decans of the sign, or when it moves completely out of Aquarius, depending on how this works for you in your natal chart. So we're getting toward the middle, which means the lessons are pretty much, they're there. We pretty much know them. It's a matter of just dealing with it and following through for the next year till the new lesson comes up in Pisces. So Saturn, second house matters, all right? Transits. This is the transit that's going to matter. Post-shadow retrograde. Now, this is important. The post-shadow phase of the retrograde follows the retrograde. This phase, it takes place after the planet has stationed, when the planet appears to stop before beginning retrograde. So Venus stationed retrograde right on top of Pluto in December. And this is working its way to the final degree where the cycle began. So the cycle begins post-shadow, so that's 11 degrees of Capricorn for Venus retrograde. In this phase, we're clearing up in this phase, we are clearing up what became undone or what was confusing during the actual retrograde. In general, post-shadow retrograde is when you can recover or reckon with what got shaken up during that cycle. So basically what that means is this, Capricorn. Venus was moving along, station retrograde at 26 degrees Capricorn, conjoined Pluto. That could have been it could have been a real wake-up call for a lot of you. Venus, since then, has been moving backwards retrograde and has conjoined the sun. So Venus has been combust. Venusian things have been essentially destroyed until Venus is reborn as the morning star, and she's going to back up all the way to 11 degrees of Capricorn. There she's going to station direct and start moving forward. That is called the post-shadow phase. That's when we clean up the mess, or we've learned our lesson of the retrograde. So basically what happens is shadow happens, things are percolating, maybe kind of weird. Retrograde event happens, whatever that might be, realization. We're kind of dealing with it, maybe reeling with it while Venus moves backwards. Venus stations direct, now moving forward. Now it's time for us to deal with it. I'm dealing with a cold or something. Excuse me. I'm dealing with a cold or something, so you'll have to excuse me. Sorry about that. It's the point at which Venus is going to station, direct, and start to move forward that we deal with the lessons of the retrograde phase. And that's what this is talking about here. Learning your lessons, realizing and realigning what is meant for you and what's not, and taking a really hard look at that. So that's where this is going. The post-shadow phase starts January 29th all the way through like March 5th. So all of February, essentially. That is time to clean up things. That's time to reconcile if you want to, or it's time to let things go. It's one or the other. Man. I tested negative for COVID, so it's not COVID. It's a regular cold. I haven't gone anywhere, so I'm stuck at home. Next card out is the sign that's going to be important for you. Capricorn, you're going to love this. Scorpio. Brave, passionate, and loyal. Scorpio is one of the most determined signs of the zodiac. Scorpios love to get to know you, and they have the most amazing memory of all the signs. They're often met with many difficult life experiences that force them to grow beyond their years. Scorpios connect deeply to the phases of life, death, and rebirth. Represented by the scorpion, they are fierce. If you cross a Scorpio, be prepared to be stung. So you've heard me talk a lot on this channel about the relationship between Scorpio and Capricorn, and they're inextricably intertwined. And it's because of that death and rebirth process, and it's the difficult life experiences. Capricorns go through the same thing. Up until 30, Capricorns go through hell, and then life gets better. Scorpio, they kind of go through hell their entire life. They have a different lesson than Capricorn, but the two are very similar. And Scorpio is a water sign. Capricorn is an earth sign. They're compatible signs. For Scorpio, Capricorn is the third house. It's communication, learning how to communicate. That's a big one for Scorpios. Communicating their truth. That's Capricorn for them. And for you, Capricorn, it's the 11th. That's hopes, wishes, dreams, friends, group associations. I guarantee we all do. You have a lot of Scorpio friends, or perhaps you're dating a Scorpio, or you're married to a Scorpio. There's always Scorpios in the life of a Capricorn, and vice versa, because you two are there to teach each other things. So Scorpio is going to be important for you. Scorpio is not a bad thing. Pluto and Mars teach us. They are still deities. Life, birth, and rebirth is part of the cosmic fabric, right? Cutting and severing, war, I hate to say it, is part of the cosmic fabric. Without it, we don't relate. We don't get Venus. Without Venus, we don't get Mars. And sometimes cutting and severing is actually a good thing. Think about if you get gangrene on the arm or your finger. You got to cut out the corruption, right? You got to cut off the finger. So sometimes severing actually saves a life. Sometimes severing and cutting saves the rest of the body. Sometimes cutting and severing saves the rest of humanity. Those are hard choices. And those are the choices that Capricorn and Scorpio make every single day. What goes and what stays. Capricorn's insiders and outsiders. You control the boundaries of this metaphysical world and the ethereal. You're the judge. You're the dweller at the threshold. You got to pass the test of Capricorn to get to the metaphysical, right? You're the initiate. Scorpio dredges it all up. They got the power to bring it all about. The poke. I love Scorpio, okay? We have to have Scorpio. I love my Scorpios. I have one Scorpio friend that's like, you get down on your Scorpios so much. I'm like, no, I don't. Sometimes Scorpio just needs to hear it from a Capricorn, and we're really good at delivering that message for Scorpio, so sometimes I feel like it's my duty to do that. But I get it right back from Scorpio all the time. You guys like the sting too, so you guys get yours in. If you're cross-watching, you know who you are. So, inextricably entwined. This Venus retrograde phase will conjoin with the rulers of Scorpio, Mars, and Pluto at the exalted degree of Mars. Executive action, directed energy. If you want something, Capricorn, go get it. That's what it means. But something you might have to sacrifice something in the process. So that's the astrology. Okay, let's see what's going on with the tarot. This is going to be a long one, I told you. Let's see if any of these cards show up too. That'll be interesting to see, right? Saturn, that is the devil. Scorpio is death. So we'll see. All right, Capricorn, here we go. This is for the first 3 months, January. New path. We have the Chariot, the Empress, Page of Wands. That's for the first 3 months. This is for the next 3 months. This is for, let's see here, we have January, February, March. This is April, May, June. So this is when Jupiter is going to conjoin with Venus and Neptune at the exalted degree of Venus in Pisces. So let's see what's going on in this, April, May, June. Six of Cups, got nostalgia, perhaps something from the past. We'll see. 4 of Cups. Queen of Wands. Okay. July, August, September. 6 of Wands. The Hermit. Page of Swords. Okay. And this is for October, November, December. 8 of Swords. The Devil. Wow. 10 of Pentacles. Wow. Capricorn. All right. So what I'm going to say is 2022 is going to start unexpectedly, if it hasn't already. It's going to put you on a new path. And it's one of abundance. It's one that you have been working for a very long time. It's in your suit. It's in Pentacles. You end with the 10. Okay, baby? It's like that mic drop. It's like all of that work, Capricorn. And this is the reason why I'm starting with you first. It's not just me. Me being a Capricorn sun. You have gone through the gauntlet. 2020. You had Pluto, Saturn, your home, ruling planet, and a fallen Jupiter, all in Capricorn. That's when the pandemic hit. We haven't seen those planets all lined up in Capricorn like that in hundreds of years. I won't get into the whole history of it, but essentially it's this. Capricorn always changes things. It's a cardinal sign. It's bringing in the new earth. It's bringing in the new reality, whatever that might be. It's still under refinement. But you had to go through the gauntlet in 2020 and part of 2021 to get to where you're going. So have you been doing all the work, Capricorn, which I know you have? It's almost here, baby. It is almost here. It starts off with, I think this is the new start. It's you deciding you want something different. We're going to do things differently. I hear someone saying that. We're going to do things differently. We're not doing it this way anymore. We're going to do things differently. We're going to head down this new route, and it's victorious. And it's going to take you in some weird places, okay? It's not always going to be easy. There's going to be times when you're going to feel like you're in a little bit of a dark night of the soul. But there's going to be abundance. There's going to be victory. There's going to be an unbinding of old patterns. There's going to be passion. There might be a little nostalgia, which you like. But I love where this is headed. So let's start. It starts off in January with the new path. You have to take the new path. This is Cancer. You could be dealing with a Cancer. Perhaps a Cancer shows you the new path. We just had the Cancer full moon. Completions. Cancer is your opposite axis in your 7th house of one-on-one relationships and partnerships. Things can be changing on that front, and it's okay. It's okay. If things are really hectic right now on the marriage or partnership front, something's coming in that's going to change all of that. So you have to go through it, and it's coming to an end. There's something new coming in here. If things are fine, if things are going just great in relationships, there's still a new start. Some of you are moving. Some of you are moving. The nodes of the moon are moving into the Taurus and Scorpio axis. And for you, it's local communities. Sorry, no, it's not. It's 5th house. I'm going from Cancer. I'm going from Cancer. It's new love. It's a new start. But it's also your future. It's 11th house. It's Scorpio. It's your future. It's changing. It's doing something else. But the 5th house is guiding the way. It's fun and games. It's feeling childish, and you got to get in touch with your inner Empress, your inner Venus. Okay. This is the archetypal Venus card. It's time to feel abundant. It's time to feel good about yourself. If you've been working on you, you're feeling good about yourself. Venus is going to be reborn in February. Venusian-like things are reborn in February, and this is Venus, okay? That's when the sun, or sorry, not the sun. That's when Venus speeds up out of a retrograde phase and conjoins with the sun. She's being reborn, so it's right around this time frame, and it's something really good because in March we have the Page of Wands. It's adventure. It's time to seek new pastures. It's time to explore the world. It's time to travel. You don't have to travel far. It could be your local community. Jupiter is in your local communities right now, so there could be some aesthetics happening around the house. Park is going in. Streets are being redone. Doing some landscaping. It's things like that. Like your surroundings are being enhanced, beautified. But it's also something around you needs to be explored as well, because the Page is about adventure. Some of you could have someone fun could enter your life for a little bit in March. Someone quite beautiful, perhaps too. Yeah. They have some Venus-like qualities here. So I would say wait till Venus gets out of shadow. That was that post-shadow phase, time to clean things up after January 29th. It's time to clean things up, okay? It's time to heal, time to bring together. Venusian-like things, bringing together, okay? Some of you are going to be very attracted to someone else, though. Or you're just getting it on with your partner, okay? I like it. I like it overall. We're moving into the second quarter. This is April, May, June. So I have a few things here. Some of you are going to be looking at the past. There's a little bit of nostalgia happening here. There could be a return of the past of some type here. It could be not one where you're like, this sucks. I don't want this person. But you're going to be thinking about it for a while, okay? It's going to come out of nowhere. You already have options. It's the guy looking at the 3 cups. You're going to be wondering, is this really right for me? Do I really want to do this? I think the juice is worth the squeeze, okay? And the reason why I say that is because toward summertime, right around June timeframe, you have more adventure. And now the Page turns into the Queen. So it's like things are amped up just a little bit. This is very much about intuition, spirit, energy, feeling good, looking good, going for what you want. So this is kind of it. If the past isn't doing it for you and they come back knocking for some reason, you're like, I don't think so. You're not lonely, that's for sure. And there's an element of spirituality here that I really like too. That's the Black Cat. Keep your intuition and your wits about you, okay? Now, what I like here, moving into the latter half of the year, is it starts with a victory of some type in July. And I love this. Riding off. Let's see here. The sun would be in Cancer right around that time, maybe even going into Leo. And, that's a time when you're considering other people. It's a time of other people in your life. There could be someone in your life that gets a promotion, that gets a victory, something that you're celebrating even perhaps here. It's something that really is to be enjoyed. So I love seeing the 6 right around July timeframe. Now, August, I'm a little bit more concerned what's going on. You're going in a little bit more. For you, this is your 8th house. This is Leo season. The 8th can be a little bit of upheaval at times. There can be some endings here too. So I want you to be aware of that. The 8th is death. So there could be a little bit of a dark night of the soul during the August time frame, it looks like. But what I like from this is your curiosity, Capricorn, hasn't stopped, okay? You're not idle during this time. You may have to take a pause from something, okay? And that's okay. I don't think that's the worst thing. But you're not idle in the sense that you're doing nothing, because the Page of Swords is mental energy. You're going, you're going, you're going. So don't get trapped into obsessive thinking, right? Harness the energy into something else. Maybe it's art. Maybe it's your favorite hobby. Maybe it's gardening. Maybe it's decorating. Maybe it's writing, painting. Okay. The obsessive energy it needs an outflow. Okay. So don't get too wrapped up in it. Don't get too wrapped in it. Someone's watching you too. So if there's no contact, they're watching. But the reason why I'm saying you need an outlet is because you're feeling trapped toward the October timeframe. I don't want you to get caught in a cycle where you're going round and around, okay? Because that doesn't do anything good for you, because next we have a return of a previous situation, I think. It could be this Six of Cups fella over here, okay? Could be. I think there's some addiction issues that have to be addressed. Here is your card, you're in your power, okay? As we move out of this Eight of Swords energy, you hit you. You have a wake-up call where you're like, no more. I'm done with this. I'm not doing this anymore. You're picking yourself up if you're stuck. Coming into your own power, you're breaking the chains, and you're saying, enough's enough, I'm going for what I want. And then all of a sudden in December, right around the time that the sun moves into our December Cappy's birthdays, 10 of Pentacles arrives. Happy house, happy family, all that glitters is gold. Okay? This is what you've been working for since day one. And all these lessons and all these tribulations over these last few years are all going to pay off. And it's this year. You have to trust the process. You have to start the new start though, okay? Trust the process. Allow abundance to flow. You have everything already. Don't let the past get you down. It's going to be a return. It's fine. You're going to be like, I don't know, maybe. And then you're going to find some inspiration, okay? That I like a lot. But this is where it's all headed. This is amazing. It's one final lesson here that we got to get through. Okay, it's right around November. You're going to see it, and you're going to be like, nope, it's not for me. And the universe is going to rain upon you. Okay. Post-shadow retrograde. It's when the planet stops moving backwards, stations in the sky starts moving direct again. It's time to clean it up. January 29th forward through February, it's time to clean things up. Scorpio is important. Digging deep, transforming, letting things go. It's the release. It's the release. Saturn, life lessons. You're always good at that. You know your life lessons. All right. I hope you enjoyed your reading. Take care.